Howdy folks, Gyro Jeremy here with another Arduino project. This time I've got two servos running off a little mini joystick. Now this joystick I got out of a PlayStation 3 controller, and I just wired it up to this little prototype board there. Basically each side has a positive and a negative, positive, and then each one had a two signal wires, which I originally tried to wire up through the Arduino, but didn't get very far with it. I couldn't get it to get any sort of a reading, and so I just removed one of the signal wires out of each, and then that worked for me. So here we have two lots of code. This one was the original code I used to get the measurements from the mini joystick. Basically, it's just a serial monitor. Hooked that up, and I was able to get the base reading when the joystick was in neutral, which is about 336. Both on vertical and horizontal. And then when I moved the joystick in either direction, it varied by 12, either plus 12 or minus 12, in both directions. So using that, I was able to hack this code. Right, so this is the code I got from the Instructables website. So all I had to do was basically just change my pins, the analog pins, and also change the digital pins. The rest of the code I left pretty much the same. He did have a serial monitor there, which I deleted because I didn't need it. And what I did here was change these numbers. This is my my base number that I had from the serial monitor, 336. Now this one here is the sensitivity. If I put it on 1, the servos would just go nuts by themselves, because what it does is control the joystick when it's top dead center, or when it's top dead center, it's pretty much 0. So if it's off to one side just a very slight little bit, that would be 1, and then so on and so on until eventually I get up to 12, which was my variation, plus or minus 12 from 36. So eventually, if I put it at 12, then I wouldn't actually get any response from the joystick at all. So I found 5 was a good one to set it on, because it kind of let the servos sit nice and easy without jittering around too much. This one here basically adjusts the angles. My servos are a bit old and budget, so they don't actually go right to 180. If you try and push them to 180, they get a bit sticky and don't like it. So on the pan, I've got that one set to 160 degrees, and then the tilt I have, I've actually changed it to set it so it doesn't go up too high and it doesn't go down too low. which was kind of cool. I didn't actually know how to do that. I just kind of was playing around with the numbers, trying to get the angles right, and yeah, and that's how it happened. And then down here on the bottom, the delay, that's basically how fast you want the servos to move. So if you put that on, say 1, the servos would just fly around and my little crane there would break off. So I've got a delay of 40 to slow it down a bit. So basically on the underside of my little prototype board here, I have a push button switch, which is actually on the toggle, which I haven't actually got connected on this one. And then I have my pan and tilt, and I've just jumped the positive and or the positive and negative rails here, just so I don't have to have wires, 2 sets of wires going to the switch. So I've got a yellow analog feed and a green analog feed coming from my pan and tilt. I've got a plus 3.3 volts and a ground, all running to my joystick. Now these are connected over here to analog pin 4 and analog pin 0, and to the 3.3 volts on the Arduino. My ground is all the grounds I've got are connected through the to the Arduino ground, including my power supply, which is 5 volts for the servos. So that's grounded to the Arduino as well. On the other side, I have my pan and tilt digital signals, which go to my 2 servos, servo 1 and servo 2, and they each have a 5 volt coming from my power supply and a ground from the power supply to the Arduino. And then we've got the digital signal wires there. So as I said before, the servos are just cheap servos, so they're a bit jittery, and they've kind of had a tough life. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I've probably connected them wrong a few times. So there's the tilt that I was able to adjust from 20 degrees to 80 degrees. Originally I had it set on 1 to 180, and it would just drive it straight into the ground and then basically flip right over backwards. And so I managed to work out the angles and set them just right, so it wouldn't go too high and wouldn't go too low. And then and then I've got the pan, which goes to 160 degrees. So that's my latest project. Time to let the kids play with it for a little bit before I pull it apart and move on to the next one.